And one of the very first things is that the role of billionaire would be dismantled.
Welcome to the Alpha Podcast, made possible by West Coast Customs and Neverland Studios, hosted by me, Jussup. Before we begin, I want to remind everybody that what you're about to hear is not financial advice, nor do we endorse any of the guests or projects on the show. This is simply meant for educational purposes, and oftentimes I'm learning about these projects in real time as we're recording them. While this is brought to you by West Coast Customs and Neverland Studios, the opinions expressed are of my own or the guests, and not of the companies. So without further ado, let's tap into the episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Mongo, pow. I'm Mike Mongo, and I'm an astronaut teacher. I co-founded a number of projects over the years. My very first NFT project was co-founder of Crypto Titties, which is the first socially good NFT on the blockchain, 16th project on the blockchain, January 4th, 2018. And that is because the artist and main creator, Ami Gendron, he and I knew each other. I knew him as a younger person, and he called me up in my journeying and travels, and he said in 2017, hey, can you come down to Key West and talk about something called crypto collectibles? So I went down to Key West for a month, and we got deep in this project, and his mom had breast cancer. Crypto Kitties had come out. Then he came up with Crypto Titties. They're beautiful art, and it brings awareness to the fact that breast cancer affects both men and women and men. And we also, 25% of all proceeds have gone to the breasties.org. In January, we gave 33 ETH to the breasties.org. It just keeps on going. It's all luck because nothing happened for years. They say that showing up is half the battle, something like that. Yeah. So being present, and that's what has enabled me to be here. And so when last year, when NFTs took off, I was in pole position. That's how that happened. So 2021 is the immutable. 2021 is the immutable 2021. 2021 is the most important year for NFTs. 2021 is 1983 of hip hop.
Yeah, I mean, it exploded.
It was and it was so fun, and being part of that evolution. Yeah. We're like 3 generations of audience in right now. We're developing the 3rd or 4th generation of the new audience that's coming in, and in a year.
How did you stumble into crypto originally?
I'm 57, so when I was in high school, this is 79, there was a opportunity to go to either take typing class or computers. And out of the entire freshman class, there was only 4 of us that took computers because they put such a heavy weight on how important typing is going to be to our future success. And 4 of us were like, well, but computers sound really cool. And so Fortran 77 was my first computer language. I always pursued computer and technology, always had a passion for space and astronautics. That's gone in that direction. I've always had a passion to be a superhero, and here we are today in the future, and I've got all my dreams all dreams come true, kids. Hey kids, all dreams come true.
Tell me about the glasses.
Okay, so I get to work with peer professionals, right? Space and science professionals. I've been an astronaut teacher for over 15 years. I wrote the Astronaut Instruction Manual. It became a bestseller in 2018. And I say these things lightly, but these are awesome things to me. When I was working and being in front of classes and teachers, getting people's attention was always a thing. So one year, around 7 or 8 years ago, I was being interviewed by a couple of German bloggers. Before that had happened, and we were using Skype at the time. This is how long ago this was. And before that happened, I had a pair of cheaters, which are just like what grown-ups grab from the store to be able to read things that are close in front of us, right? So they were pinching my ears, and I just flipped them. They're the same prescription on both sides. They're just over the counter, and I forgot.
On the call.
I didn't even notice. And they're looking at me so strange, and I just thought it was cultural. I just, like maybe there's something I'm not understanding, and just continued with the interview. And then it finished. I was in my office, and I'm from Key West, so I was in Key West. And then, so I walked in through my office and saw in the mirror that my glasses were like that. And I was married at the time, and my wife came in right on cue, right? And she... I'm the same person I am all the time. Like if you here I am. Yeah. That's also the person someone gets to live with. And then I was like, oh my God, you're not gonna believe this. I just did an interview. My glasses were like this the entire time. And she was so over my shenanigans. Then her face, she just does this look. And I was like, oh, is that funny? And so the next day, I had an optometrist I've used since I was a kid, and I went in and told him I wanted to have my glasses made that way. And so I had the lenses made so that the readers are right here and the distance is over here, and then that's the and then.
And they curl back.
No, these
right?
are made. These are crafted. I mean, like these are the new ones. I just got these ones in. These are the real deal. Yeah, these are the debut of the new Matrix 4 blue. Yeah, blue, purple.
You're gonna have to start branding them so people can buy some.
So now I have a son, right? And so he called me up a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago, and he tells me his dreams, and he has great dreams. Raphael. And he said, I had a dream last night that we were in New York City and you owned the biggest company in all New York City. It was called UpsideDownGlasses.com. And we had a slogan, and the slogan was, they're made that way. And I went and bought everything. I was just like, okay, so I'm copywriting that, I'm trademarking that. I did the whole thing. I was like, of course.
Yeah.
My genius son, yes. Raphael, yes.
That was a sign.
Yes.
When you became a part of this Crypto Titties, going back to that.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
So now that project is, because it's 16th on the blockchain, I've just stepped back in as co-founder of the project this month with Ami. Ami's developing a project called Collectiverse, which is going to be a big deal because he's a genius. And him and his co-founder, Cool, and they're doing that. And so that meant that Crypto Titties was just there, and it is so valuable now. The floor has been like 7 ETH, and we just released there's 144 of them. We just released the last 21, I think, at 15 ETH, and I'm taking it over. We're developing a kind of Gucci brand around it, Crypto TTs, Crypto TTs, right? The art is, Ami did the art, and it's gorgeous. It's tasteful and beautiful, and it has alien chests and extraterrestrial chests and blue chests, and just all flavors, all kinds. And again, it goes to support breast cancer awareness. Breasties.org is an amazing organization. They were able to, we worked with so many different organizations, and they couldn't take crypto, but we could only pay in crypto.
Right.
And so then Breasties.org is the one that was able to pull it off. There's a whole process, and anybody who's doing any socially good NFTs are going to figure this out. Or have figured it out, and many boards are like, oh no, NFTs and crypto are destroying the world, we're not going to do that, as opposed to everything else that has come before us. Right? So here we have the solution to where we need to go to, but everything else is right and crypto is wrong. Okay, fine. And so but the Breasties.org had somebody on the board who was crypto aware and brought it to the board, enrolled the board, they accepted, and then that relationship they're written into the contract now. So it's
cool.
Yeah.
You said that was on Ethereum.
Yes.
So have you dabbled in different
Of course.
chains? Yeah.
Yeah, I have my own project, Mongo mugs. There's 3 Genesis. There's the first Genesis with 22 Mongo mugs on Ethereum. The floor is 1.5 on those. I'm super happy they sold out in like 10 minutes. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that I'm one of the co-founders of Obey. And I got to work with Shepard Fairey, who is the creator of Obey, for about 15 years. And
cool.
From 92 to right at when the Hope poster came out. He showed me how to really grind. Nobody that I've ever met works harder than Shepard. And we got to work with virality and memes prior to it becoming nomenclature and just everyday language.
Yeah.
And that opened up all these different doors. I always positioned myself to be in the right place at the right time. Make sure you're in the right place at the right time. If something is happening, go there. Gabe Weiss, my good friend Gabe Weiss, who I love dearly, tweeted out of last year, the Immutable 2021. He tweeted out, if you're here now, you're early. If you're here 3 years from now, you're early. And that's how ahead of the curve we are. So I've been through hip-hop, I've been through crypto, I've been through the advent of the internet. It was called DARPANET when I got on the internet, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency Network. Then it became the internet in the 90s. And then crypto and domains. Domains were a big deal. the dot-com bubble, all of these things, I've been through all of these, nothing is like Web3.
Right, yeah.
And the reason that is because humankind has evolved. We are evolved as a people. We're not evolving, we have evolved, and now our commerce has evolved to reflect that.
Right.
And this is about abundance for everyone, and it is about scarcity as a game. It is not about scarcity as a way of life where we have a few people who have, and we have almost everyone who don't have enough. We don't need to do that. That was the model that you and I and pretty much everyone we know were raised in. And now us doing what we're doing, of course there's resistance to it. We were steeped in scarcity.
Yeah.
And scarcity is a game when like, okay, so you have an ape and I don't have an ape. That's a great form of scarcity. I love that game.
Yeah.
And it enables abundance. Like we stopped when you saw us when we were coming in. We got stopped at the gate by Sheik and Christy, the security guard here, right? They really came on like, hey, stop. And we were waiting for you to show up and
context.
Bring the pass.
They didn't have passes or nothing or anything.
Yeah.
Not only were they in the event, but they were in the VIP section of the event.
Yeah. And then we enrolled them. We enrolled them by making sure that they are part of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like how many of us, like it's our job, it's our obligation, it's our honor, our responsibility, our pleasure to make sure that the people we talk to, the people at the gate, the door people, our Uber drivers, the people at the grocery store we go to all the time, the cashier, the bag person, all of them know about this because all boats get to rise. And we don't need to force it down anyone's throat or push it on them. If people want scarcity, but we get to model abundance, and that is what's possible. That's why you and I are having this conversation.
Right.
And what you're doing is super important. I've heard the voices that you've put on the Alpha podcast. This has been a remarkable podcast already, and it's brand new. You're fantastic, and this is making a big difference. How do we get John Legend or Lady Gaga to talk about this? That's not the game. The game is one Twitter Spaces, one podcast, one Clubhouse room at a time, and 10 people get enrolled. One person get enrolled. Hearing John Knopf tell his story right here.
Yeah.
About how he was doing a Troll Power 6 or whatever it's called.
Yeah, he was
Troll 6.
The flat Earth rooms.
And then he dropped into an NFT room by happenstance. Yeah. And he was into photography, but IRL photography or hard copy photography. And then he got enrolled into NFTs, and look where he is now.
Yeah.
So I was just at his brunch in Los Angeles last week. Yeah,
cool.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And Farouk and William Tong, my dear friend, and Jen Stein, the amazing Jen Stein, and Single Serving, Manushka. Important people who are doing this thing. Yeah. Here's why we're important. Here's why you're important. We're important because we're taking the time to enroll other people and make sure that they have abundance in their lives. That's important.
Yeah.
This is not about, like, I got a VIP. It is not about that. And LA made that available. You could get that $6,000 VIP. Yeah. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
That's not the game. This is the game.
Well, I think a lot of it is aligning with, core values and being kind and like you said, abundance, like opening it up and not just saying, this is the knowledge that I'm going to hold to myself and nobody else can have it. And I think
scarcity mindset.
Yeah. And you see it. It's ingrained, like you said, it's ingrained in people. I mean, if you take a family and you put out food, people take more than they want to eat based off of scarcity.
Oh, is your family Caribbean too? Oh, man. What? White people don't know. The little containers we all bring home from, like, whenever we have a party, we have to have enough for everybody to bring meals home. Facts. Yes, that kind of abundance.
Yeah, it's like...
It's a great model.
Ingrained in people's head. And, I'm doing these podcasts in order to help educate people and break it down so that anybody can understand. And like the diversity of people that I've talked to, I think allows that too, because there might be somebody that somebody resonates with. And yeah, I mean, I think making it available, not scary. Crypto doesn't have to be scary. There's a place for everybody in this. So
I mean, it is actually, I got to say, Jessup, there is a massive amount of discomfort in crypto in Web3.
Yeah.
Even the transition from calling it crypto to Web3 is advantageous. Right. It helps a great deal because people are like crypto,
right.
cryptic, and when we go to Web3, we're talking that I share with people who are uncomfortable, lean into the discomfort.
Yeah.
that's how you and I have been successful. That's how we've all been successful.
100%,
By leaning into the discomfort. Lean into the discomfort. If you're working in crypto and you feel out of place, or you feel like you're not getting, or you feel like none of this makes sense, that's where to go. That's the place. That is actually, if you feel that, you're doing it right. So if you do feel that, you're doing it right. And if you feel comfortable and you feel natural, it's almost certainly guaranteed that you're not doing it the right way, and you may need to ask for assistance. And that's the way it should be, because we all get to each one reach one. And this is an important point. Leaning into the discomfort. People, we don't share that part enough. When in April, when like crypto collectibles aside, everything that happened in the immutable 2021, and I call it that because that's the next year. If anybody had a project last year, watch over the course of our lifetime, all the 2021 projects are going to be fantastic. Right. They're going to come out of nowhere. They're like, oh wow, I remember that goofy, silly thing. I found this project last week called Kai Meow. Kai Meow, and it is cat balls jingling around with all kinds of funny, goofy, happy stuff happening around. Hilarious. Fat line art. I love fat line art. And it had one of the pieces was there's only 64. There's 64 of them, and one of the pieces had there's a little cat bung hole, and then there's the cat balls, and then like all these goofy, silly little rabbits and carrots and funny. The little cat balls are puking a rainbow. Well, we all know that the Doodles did the puking rainbow, and Poopy but that was October 2021. This is August 2021, 2 months beforehand.
Interesting.
Right, and so I found that project, and I'm a proper DJ, so I was like, I found it with Jessica Trasky, and we bought them right there, and we did the thing, and she's a great artist, and we talk DJ and talk every now and again. And then those kind of projects are going to come out of nowhere. Projects that we forgot about or we didn't see. We're like archaeologists, NFT archaeologists. Right now. We're going to see that, the immutable 2021, we're going to see that for the rest of our life. People are going to be rediscovering projects from 2021. So when I showed up last year, and it was, that was my point. I showed up in that space. We were all in the middle of COVID pandemic, trying to figure out what to do. And NFTs started popping up in my clubhouse. And so I started going into them. And then because I already had a background in crypto, I was a little more comfortable. And then discussing it, and I suddenly see, oh my gosh, this is the advent of digital art, and it's so much more than that. NFTs as a medium are distinguished from all other mediums of our work because art, creator, community, and utility. It's art, creator, community, and utility. Art, creator, community, and utility. Those four. The utility part of NFTs is what makes NFTs distinguished from every other art medium that we've ever had. And that's because, again, we've evolved, our commerce has evolved, and of course, our art has evolved. And so all of these people who are against it and opposed to it, well, that makes all the sense in the world to me. Because when we come up with new ideas, when new things manifest, when they show up, we don't automatically embrace them. People don't want discomfort. That's why it's important to lean into the discomfort. The way that I did at that time, I didn't understand anything. I didn't know how to like Solidity contract. Are you kidding me? That was a year ago. And now here we are in the future, and I've got 3 projects out. I'm doing my own smart contracts and getting ready to do famous tabs, these grown-up projects. Another one that I'm working on. So I'm working on these different projects, and all because I made that practice. I'm constantly hammering that home. Lean into the discomfort. You get here. Next year, you're going to be speaking here. And we all know that is fully within the realm of possibility.
Oh, yeah. That's what's crazy about this. It's like...
And there's a method to do it.
Yeah.
Got to do this thing. And the reasons to get to the leaning into discomfort, getting out of our comfort zone is because, you know what I do every single day? Whatever I want.
That's cool.
And that's what I want for everyone.
Yeah.
That's what we want for everyone. People come up to me and offer me jobs every single day now. And I gotta let it, I'm like, they're like, this shackle has the most velvet you've ever seen. It's the most contemporary velvet ever created. And it has pretty much, if not the longest, there is no chain that is longer than this chain that this shackle is attached to, that if you just put it here, we will give you almost nothing. Does that sound great?
They make it seem great.
And I'm like, I'm not in the market for a shackle.
Yeah.
I have all this talk of liberty over the last few years, I've got that. We've got that now. Travel to these events, see friends, make new friends, talk with perfect strangers who become friends, engender abundance in their lives so that they become us, and then they get to model it for the people in their lives. And abundance is food, wardrobe, housing, transportation, employment, education, medical. This is the future. We made it. And now we get to have enough of everything for everyone. I always present it to rooms. And by the way, you got me hyped. I'm hyped now. So
yeah.
I'm on fire. It's that
Let's
Miami
go.
heat. It's that Miami heat. So when I'm talking with rooms of peer professionals, and this is other than crypto, like science and space, I will offer up this idea. Imagine everything working out for everyone all the time without harm to anyone. And people will respond almost violently. Not everybody, but some people in the room were like, that's impossible. Like literally leap from their feet. That's impossible. Leap from their seats. That's impossible. Everything can't work out for everyone all the time without harm to anyone. Can't do it. We're evolved human beings, and we can hold two ideas in our head at the same time. So we're going to take the idea that everything working out for everyone all the time without harm to anyone is impossible, and we're going to put it on our cognitive mental shelf. We're going to just put it up here as an idea on our shelf. We're not in argument with that. We are going to entertain another idea. What does it look like? That it's not impossible. We already understand it's impossible. Cool, got that. So we're putting that over here. Now we're going to entertain. What does it look like, everything working out for everyone all the time without harm to anyone? What does that look like? What would it look like?
As a possibility.
I mean, what does it look like? How would it show up in the world? How would we... And one of the very first things is that the role of billionaire would be dismantled. We wouldn't have that role any longer. We created that role. Not the individuals who fulfill that role. We created the role, and some of us are going to fulfill that role. It's not the people who are fulfilling the role that is the challenge. It's the role itself. If extraterrestrials came from another world to our world and said, I will trade some of those beautiful seashells you have on your earthly beaches in exchange for telling you what's going on your planet. We'd be like, sure, okay, cool. Extraterrestrial consultant, I'm in. and then they'd be like, okay, they look around and they're like, okay, so here's the deal. You've attributed the role of distribution of wealth and resources to these individuals you're calling billionaires. But instead of distributing wealth and resources, they're hoarding them. And that's creating all the challenges in the world. Give me my seashells. Like that it would go just like that. It's that simple. It's that simple. And so Web3 is not us opposed to Web2, which is what I think of everything prior to us getting here. It is us using the pieces of Web2, dismantling Web2 to build this amazing future. That's what we're doing. And if anyone has any doubts, that's what we're doing.
What was the last thing you've minted?
Okay. All right. So this is a great question. I can tell you that the last thing that it was Nifty Castle Witchy Girlfriends.
Nifty Castle Witchy Girlfriends.
It's a women-led project. It's
cool.
Like the art is great. It's an expansion of the DB's Nifty Castle DB's universe, and the DBs are devil babies who were born in the fires of Interrobang, who escaped and are mischievous little creatures, and they're fun and everything, and a great community. And so then they have another aspect of it, Witchy Girlfriends. It's just like the female-facing version of like our expression of the Interrobang universe, and created by Sketchnate and Woe Boy and Lola and Jessica Yatrosky and Gift Dead. And I love the community, I love the project, and so I always just go back and pick up another one because they're minting right now. So that's one of my big alphas right there for sure.
Cool.
They're like a skate, snow. They're action sports driven, and they have a fantastic. I like a good narrative.
Do you collect on Ethereum, Solana, multi-chain? What?
Yes.
Multi-chain?
Oh, I mean, like all the above. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So on Solana, I'm big on a game called Pixel Invaders. Pixel Invaders. And I just met the creators in a clubhouse or something, and they were super cool. They live in Austria, and we've had great conversations. And I love they just have a passion for games and gameplay, and the art is sick. And then on Solana, Soulflowers. My buddy Corey Shaw, Build Destroy, he did that project. He and I have been doing graffiti since the 90s, and we both were taught by Doze Green from original Rocksteady crew. And then On Polygon, I love Mitch Putnam's work. I love the visitors. I love Lurk. Lurk does a lot of cool stuff. He's got a new project out. And my second project, my second genesis of the Mongo mugs is Polygon. I did that on Nifty Kit, Dropkit, NiftyKit.app. I did that. That's a terrific. It makes creating our own smart contract really simple. I'm a big fan of that. And find a blockchain that makes sense and explore it. Ethereum has its challenges. It definitely impacts carbon output of Ethereum transactions is not premium, and Polygon is superior in that regard. And Solana is another one that is really good when it comes to carbon impact and has a great community. And Terra.
Yeah, that's what Urban was telling me about Terra.
I'm talking to people about it. I'm blockchain agnostic.
Yeah. Where can people find you?
I'm Googleable. Oh yeah, I haunt Twitter. I'm on Twitter all day, all night. People ask me if I sleep, so I've got a project coming out called Famous Tabs, and Famous Tabs is a grown-up project. This shows what is possible with NFTs. So I work with young students and I work with kids, and then at the same time I'm a grown-up, and I've been through it, and I have, because of Obey in particular, have this connection with art that is culturally and historically impactful. So there's a project called Famous Tabs. It uses blotter acid art from the 60s, 70s, and 80s that influenced the foundation, like the history of rock and roll. And there's a person in San Francisco who has maintained a collection over these decades, fought the DEA in that, and won because of the cultural, artistic, and historic significance of the work. And it cannot leave there. They have a museum in San Francisco, and it cannot leave there to travel and be seen. And NFTs enable that. Like we're getting super high res photos of each tab, and then releasing a tab a day, noun style. And wow. Yeah, so I've supported that project, the advent of that project. I think it's really significant and important. And again, it's an adult project. It's a grown-up project. It's not frivolous, and it has great cultural significance to where we are today. So I'm really, really excited about that project.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so I'm a big PFP fan. I'm DJing all day and all night. I do, and I picked up a bunch of goops. Oh, tell me you own Loser Club. Oh my gosh.
I don't.
Loser Club? Okay, so if you made it this far in the interview, you got to the prize. Loser Club today is 0.2528 something. And in 1 year's time, it's the BAYC of 2022. And here's why. I look at projects, so I named 4 of them, but there's 6. There's a metrics, Mike Mongo's NFT metrics. Yeah. And it's art, creators, community, utility, IP, and technology. Art, creators, utility, community, IP, and technology. That's the whole thing. So the art is fantastic. The artist Javon created Fishy Fam. Did you ever see Fishy Fam?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, come on, man. What kind of degen are you? I got to walk you through. So we'll pretend he said yes. Yeah, that's a beautiful
I'm getting
project.
Outed in this episode.
What? I got you, man. I got you. So Javon created that, and then he walked away from it. He was like, I'm not feeling the vibe. This is not my, I'm happy, I wish you success. And, and they took care of him. It was great. HBA and Sisfa from Fishy Fam. But he created this amazing community built around that. Like, oh, wow, we're really about you, Javon. And I was there for that moment when that transition happened. And then I got to research Javon, and he's a beloved figure in Seattle, Washington. So I got to spend a bunch of time in Seattle during Obey and everything, so I know I have a big background in there. A beloved figure as an artist for an artist-led project is important, because a beloved figure is never going to rug a project simply for a bag of ETH.
Right.
Because they have people that they caring about them.
Right.
So Javon's got a whole community, like people who think of him as wonderful. Why would we trade that for anything? Yeah. So art, creator, so we got those knocked out. Then community built around when he moved from Fishy Fam into I'm doing my own thing. And then utility. I was at the Loser Club party this is when I became I mean, like, I was enrolled before, but this is really what... I went to the IRL. Their
in
first,
LA?
Yep. They fed everybody. They drank everybody. And it was filled up. I walk into the room. First of all, a lot of these projects, I've got pictures. I have pictures from Web3. I'm not going to name any specific projects. I'm certainly not going to name BAYC when I have all these photos I collected from Twitter where they have 30 to 50 people in the picture and there's not a single person who's black. I've collected. I'm going to have a coffee table book that's called Imagine Black People. And it's gonna be all pictures of the last year of Web3 of certain projects like Web3. Like, hey, why? How do we look around and not see like it's not them, it's us. That's a Web3 thought right there. Right. That's the shift right there. That's the whole thing. Like if I don't see me in a room, that's not my room. So when I went into the Loser Club room, I saw my people. I saw folks. I'm like, oh, this is my family right here. Like there was people who were black. There were women. I mean, I don't want to shock anybody, but there were women at an NFT event. Like it was, and everybody was as part of it as the community.
Yeah.
By the time I got to the back of the room, and because it was mobbed, got to the back of the room, and then Jen Stein was there, and then I met John Dean from Renown, the clothing line. Like there's just real titans there. Swabsky, all of these amazing people, Goku, all of these Lady Invisible people I know from the community. Jen Stein's there, we're talking about, like, what's the utility of Loser Club? This happened. Like, starts having a larger conversation that expands the room, and suddenly the room's going, Loser Club utility is a movement. Loser Club utility is a movement. I got goosebumps right now.
Yeah, I see it in this heat.
It is a movement. It is. It's an evolution. We're not evolving. We have evolved. And Loser Club acknowledged that live on the spot while I was there. And I bought one right there. I bought another one right there. I got 9. Like, I'm in. I'm a believer. Art, creators, community, utility, IP. So I was raised on Fat Albert. I'm going to sing a song for you. Hey, it's Fat Albert. I was raised on that. And then there's another show called Boondocks. I don't know if you ever seen that show.
Yeah.
Hilarious. So these shows are, I can see Loser Club being that for, like, so 10 years from now, there's going to be kids walking around all braggadocious. I was raised on that Loser Club stuff in the same way that we were, like, with.
Yeah.
And then the technology. The mint was, the way they did the mint was, they had a allow list, pre-sale, which was 80% filled out, so that went in a day. And then when they did the public mint, 20% went in less than 1 minute, 60 seconds. So, like I said, I'm a DJ, man. I pay attention to all of these details. So then when I hit all the marks, bing, 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 6, I was like, okay, this is the project. This is the project. Yeah, so anybody who made it to this portion of the program, now you know the real alpha. You came here this is the Alpha Podcast. You came here for alpha. There's alpha. Alpha, this whole entire podcast has been filled with alpha. My name is Mike Mongo, and that's alpha. Yeah, Jessica Ostrowski calls the good stuff 2 steps beyond alpha, gamma.
Gamma.
Yeah, we're not talking about gamma. Gamma's off camera.
What I've been doing is I've been hiding like little clues in all of the episodes, and a lot of them have been like visual clues. But if you can just pick one word for the listeners or viewers or anybody, text whatever word he's about to say to 406-295-6929, and you might win an NFT. So pick a word.
Oh, well, you know what the word's going to be, right? Come on, could you guess the word? Like, of everything we talked about, there's one thing that has driven me into the future. It's going to be obey.
Obey?
In honor of what got me to where I am today, yeah.
O-B-E-Y.
O-B-E-Y. I wouldn't be here today if Shepard and Amanda Ferry, I love you like light. I want to say thank you. And anybody who works alongside you and alongside you for all of those years, for any amount of time and didn't get what I got, that's on them, that's not on you. Pow, pow, pow.
Appreciate it, man.
Oh, much love. Alpha
Podcast.
Podcast.
Let's go.